Good evening. My name is Ramakrishna Bhattabyal from the Shiv Nadar University, and this is the second trial video for the end semester examination of the course MAT 104. Today I'm going to prove on camera or find the result for the Laplace transform of the function with respect to time sine of t being the variable defined for time. And now we've already defined what the definition of a Laplace transform is, which is basically converting a real function into its complex transform with complex variable s and given variable t. So let's cut right ahead to it. Yes. So by definition of the Laplace transform, L of ft is given by the integral from 0 to infinity of e to the power minus st into the function ft dt. Now we've already defined how this works, what the meaning of this is, and when we're talking of something like the function of time being sine t, it's basically sine at, right, where a is equal to 1, as simple as that. So just to get a general idea of the equation, let's solve it for L of sine at, right, and that we can take from 0 to infinity e to the power minus st sine at into dt, as simple as that. Now when we integrate, as we have done in the previous question for ft is equal to 1 and ft, previous questions ft is equal to 1 and ft is equal to t, we'll have to use by parts, right? And by parts basically works like this. So if you have two functions u and v and you integrate their product, right, now by parts basically suggests that you take 1 and 2, or u and v. This is both are generalized terms, generalized variables and generalized ways of calling these functions, if you want to speak in a computerized manner. And the way you integrate them is that you take the first one, or let's say u, and then you multiply it with the integral of v, right? And then from this you subtract the product of the integral of the derivative of the first function and the embedded integral of the second function, right? So yeah, that is that. This is what we're going to be using. This is called by parts, and it will be very essential in what we're going to do. So basically, one of the shortcuts that we might be able to use here is that when we're integrating the product of an exponential function, let's say e into at, and a trigonometric function, let's say sine into bt is dt, right? We use the shortcut identity e to the power at upon a square plus b square, a sine bt minus b cos bt. And you might say that this is a shortcut, but this is basically the extended form of, this is a simplified form, I'm sorry, of the by parts expansion of this same product. So you expand this and eventually you come up to this. The process is not as difficult as it seems. So what we can do is, here in place of here a, we've got minus s, right, in our given function. So this is the question, and here we've got a is equal to minus s and b is equal to a. as simple as that. Thus we can expand it to say e to the power minus st upon s square plus a square, right? This isn't as I'm just doing this in the short form, so that our doubts about the answer in the end are assuaged early on, and then we can use the complicated version, right? Right. And thus, if we apply the limits here, this is just to assuage our doubts about the answer in the end. We'll get e to the power minus infinity upon s square plus a square into minus s sine infinity minus a cos infinite e to the subtract from this e to the power negative 0 upon s square plus a square into minus s multiplied by sine 0 minus a multiplied by cos 0, right? And here what we have is e to the power negative 0, negative infinite, very simply defined, will be e to the power negative infinite. It's e raised to the power of very 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 small number, so much so that it is indeterminate, thus we call it infinite. So we can say it's 0, right? As we reject very small powers in numericals for physics and uh, yeah, mathematical physics and whatnot. And e to the power 0, whether it's positive plus minus 0, whatever it is, e to the power 0 is 1. That is a basic property of exponents. So what we get here is 0 minus, sorry, 0 minus 1 upon s square plus a square into 0 minus a is equal to a upon s square plus a square. And that there is the general expansion, right? General definitive answer that you will get for any Laplace, for the Laplace transform of any sine at, any function sine at. And for a function sine at where a is equal to 1, we can say L of sine t will be, no, a is 1, right? So 1 upon 1 plus s square. And that, my friends, is what you have in the form of a conclusive result. So just so you can see again, this is what I have done using a very simple shortcut. And it's not really a shortcut as it is a way of I mean getting through with it faster. Just basically using this expansion to simplify the by parts route of the question, and getting from here to here to here, and then plugging in the value of a, which is 1, right? So as simple as that, not very tough. And should I be given a minute, I will try to expand it using the by parts formula. So right, we're back here, just to expand it using the by parts rule. And so what we can do is we can take sine t to be the first function, and the exponent to be the second function, right? Right. So what we do here is we take sine t as it was, right, as we remember the rule, and we have 0 to infinity as the limits here, and the integration of this. Next we have the derivative of sine t, which is cos t, as we remember from prior trials, and this is multiplied. So here again we have the limits. This is multiplied by e to the power minus st, and then we have dt, right? So simply speaking, here we'll get sine t. Now this is not very difficult as a question of trigonometry, but nevertheless we'll take it seriously, since usually when solving problems we encounter minor difficulties due to silly mistakes, right? And I might have committed one so far, not found out, which is why I'll go back and check again, and if I do find any, I will try to correct it, because that's what is most important, avoiding silly mistakes when you're trying to do the simplest or the longest parts of the question, where you think you're the most confident because it's straightforward. And here we have 0 to infinity cos t e to the power minus st upon s, right? So I mean, you do see a pattern here. We get this and we get this. Here we'll apply the limits, and eventually we'll come to the point where the end answer for as we saw previously, a is equal to 1 will be 1 upon s square plus 1. And how did we get here? We got here by solving all of these. I mean, if you think about it very carefully, or if you remember what we did previously, we got e to the power minus infinity, right? And whatever you do here also, you will get e to the power minus st, and then you can take that as a common factor. So you'll eventually get something along the lines of yeah, minus infinity upon infinity, and then you will get e to the power minus 0 upon 0. So both of these will be indeterminate and will eventually be ruled out, right? uh, Similarly here, I'm so sorry, it's minus infinity upon minus s, which is a constant, I'm so sorry. And then 0 upon e to the power 0 upon s, so it will be 0 minus 1 by s. And so eventually we'll get to this sum by solving the entire biparts equation. And if you look very carefully, you will find some relation between this function and this function, where we have e to the power minus st upon e to the power minus st upon s common. If we take both of those common after integrating, of course, I mean, we will get e to the power minus st upon s common sometime, because the integration of exponential function will be that same exponential function divided by the coefficient of the exponent, right? And we'll get some form of sine t, either its derivative um, or sine t itself on this side, and then we'll solve both to get a similar result. So yeah, that's where we're at, and eventually we'll come to this sum, and this will be the end result. So thank you for joining, and I apologize for taking a shortcut, but I mean, it's always easier to have to have some sort of a backup shortcut plan, or some sort of a backup plan to get through to the answer eventually. So even if I mean, I usually take 15 minutes, you can take 5 minutes to get to the answer, right? And that is the question. I hope I was able to satisfy the curiosity for this answer. Thank you.